I remember back in sixth grade when I first got my gaming PC, my friends convinced me to get this game called Borderlands 2 on Steam. Now, I never really heard of it when they first convinced me to get the game, but I just decided, hey, it's 20 bucks, so I'll buy it. Why not, I guess. I remember playing it throughout the summer of 2015, and I was just we never really got past like the first few missions. I remember playing it, and we just kept dying and dying and dying over and over again. We weren't really good at the game nonetheless. But 8 years passed later, and they're making a Borderlands movie. Now, I never really played it since that summer of 2015, so I don't remember much about the video game. I don't remember anything about Borderlands 2. All I really remember is that, I just kept dying, and it was a cheap-ass game at the time. Why not? And now recently, I've seen this trend of, more video games are getting turned into movies, like the Super Mario movie was a big success, The Last of Us was a show, obviously on HBO Max, and, so many other ones, Uncharted, a lot of other ones. But Borderlands is one that I've kind of forgot, and it's kind of funny that they're, making a movie about it now. Some of my friends, they continue to play the game, and they swear by it. They played Borderlands 3. Borderlands is like their favorite ass game. Now, it's for me, like I said before, I haven't played the game since 2015, so I didn't know anything about the game. And it was interesting, seeing the movie, going to see the movie without the knowledge of remembering what the whole game was about. And the friends I saw it with, they didn't know anything about the game. So it was interesting because the friends who did love the game actually ended up hating the movie. My friend who has never seen a Borderlands game actually kind of liked the movie. And as for me, I'm kind of 50-50 on the movie itself. And whenever I see a movie or something that's related to a video game or like another property I haven't seen in a while, I always I think whatever of it, because Borderlands, I can't relate it to the game itself because I don't remember that game. I can only judge it based off the movie itself. And as a movie itself, it was okay at best. It was a very mediocre, cliche kind of Guardians of the Galaxy wannabe. And this video isn't going to be bashing on, Borderlands movie. I know a lot of people have already done that. If you have been watching this channel, I like to, just talk about movies and TV shows that a lot of people don't like, and just kind of give a reason why I like it and I like certain aspects. But just in case, if you are new, my name is Nick Parren. I'm a filmmaker, content creator. I talk about movies and TV shows and whatever really comes to mind. I also just like to document the journey of making my first feature film. And if that stuff kind of interests you, make sure to hit subscribe to see more videos like this. So anyways, it's kind of funny whenever I talk about a certain movie or TV show on this channel, just because I never really end up loving anything or hating anything. I'm always kind of 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. Now, as a filmmaker, I don't want to bash stuff, especially if I want to make a career, I don't want to keep bashing, Hollywood movies and stuff. I want to talk about the good and the bad, as well as certain criticisms that I have with it. As a movie in and of itself, I don't want to talk about too much about it just because I generally just don't have too much to say about it. I think, overall, it looked pretty good. The action was pretty good. As I said before, I can't judge it based off a true movie because it's based on a video game. And this is the trouble when movies are based off video games. You kind of have to feel like you already know what's going on in the movie before you've seen it. And if a grandma, if a 60-year-old goes to see Borderlands, she's not going to know anything about the game or the movie. I mean the movie yet, because and I think the movie did a good enough job to tell the basic story of it. And I try to remember because, obviously I did play the game in the past. I don't remember anything regarding, the certain core in the planet, the Pandora, whatever it's called. I don't even remember. I'm recording this video like a month later after I watched the movie, so I don't remember too much about it. But all I can really remember is, it was kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff. They're trying to fight the space guy, and he's got a daughter that they're chasing after. It's similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole thing with the characters and stuff, very similar. And maybe that's just Borderlands, maybe that's just this movie. I can't really dictate how much of it is based on the video game and how much is based off the movie. Now, in terms of the casting, I've seen a lot of people either online and some of my friends complain about, the casting that they had. Now, the casting, some of the options were, pretty good, especially Jack Black, who's in pretty much everything, and any video game movie. He's in Super Mario movies, in the Jumanji, he's in, I think, the Minecraft movie coming up. So Jack Black makes perfect sense why he's in this movie. But they have a lot of like weird options, like that one grandma who's like in every other movie, that one old lady who's like a really good actress, but she's in this movie for some odd reason. And then they have that little girl. I don't remember that little girl in the Borderlands game at all. And she was also in the Barbie movie, I think. And it seems like, it's becoming more of a trend where we see like, video games get turned into movies. And especially like now, since like they kind of cracked the code on it. I think back then, back like 10 years ago, any video game movie was either like a box office flop or people just didn't like it. Now it's just kind of like a 50-50 chance where we have a lot of good movies that are based off video games, but also a lot of bad, like, like I think Uncharted, Mortal Kombat, and these aren't movies I haven't seen, but these are opinions that I've heard. People don't like those movies. I saw the Super Mario movie, The Last of Us was really good. So I think they've kind of cracked the code on like certain aspects of the video game adaptation to the movie, and especially when they do future ones, like they're planning on like so many. Like I said before, Minecraft. They're making Watch Dogs. Like Watch Dogs, that was my favorite game back in the day. I can't wait for that one. And then the Minecraft movie, which is going to be a major success. But I already talked about that. But anyways, like Fortnite, is Fortnite going to get a movie? Like eventually, right? I don't know. The situation of Borderlands the game kind of reminds me of when Assassin's Creed movie came out. Now, I used to love Assassin's Creed back in the day. I used to play like all the time. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was like my shit. I used to play it all the time back in 2016. And I remember when the movie came out for the genre, and I just couldn't believe how bad it was. Like I was so excited for the movie, and it was so weird at that time because I was a big fan of the game. And literally, the movie was coming out like next week, and I had no idea. I was like, "What the fuck? They're making a movie about it?" I could not believe how disappointed I was. I think I fell asleep halfway through of it, and I didn't wake up again. It was extremely boring, and it was awful. I couldn't believe how bad it was. Now, rest assured, I haven't seen it since then. So maybe if I rewatch it again, it might be a little bit better. But what I remember of it, it was kind of a traumatic experience. Just seeing like something I love so much being like turned to shit. And if that has anything resembled to what Borderlands fans feel like, I totally understand like the discourse behind the movie. Now, the movie has like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like an awful ass rating. But as a movie in of itself and as a filmmaker, I don't see too much wrong with it. I just think it's really cliche, average, and whatever, but I didn't think it was like terrible by any means. But I understand the disappointment if you are a hardcore fan of these games and then seeing it get turned into a giant mess on the big screen is kind of disappointing, and I understand that point of view. I'm just not a big enough fan of Borderlands to actually know that. So if that has anything to do with it, I can understand completely how people feel about this movie. This whole video, I just wanted to make a video basically talking about like the whole video game niche in Hollywood recently. And it's interesting because I never really do a movie review unless I have something to say to the table. Like when I did my Star Wars Acolyte reviews, I had a lot to say about that topic. And it seems like the movies and TV shows that people like worse, I always come in and try to defend it. But it's hard to defend something that I don't know much about, especially with this one. So I guess the question now is like, are they continuing to make more movies, like more video game adaptations? And, should they even should they just stop? Should they take a break? Because what it seemed like I said before, it's either like a hit or a miss. It's either like, a box office gem, it's everyone loves it. Like, Super Mario, Sonic was good ones. They made a lot of those ones. Last of Us was a great TV show, I've heard. But, obviously, oh yeah, Fallout. Fallout was another good one. The thing is, I think they should continue it because even though we get some bad ones here and there and, people's franchises get destroyed, there's a lot of like learning lessons, and I'm sure I don't think they're going to make another Borderlands movie or another Assassin's Creed movie, for example, but it's all based off like the video games. The video games and the true original property, that's the main thing of it. I think these companies, they're kind of money hungry when it comes to, making movies, stepping into the cinema world. I think the Super Mario movie was an exception because they they've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I think that movie came out great. You know, it was a very classic. It was something like kids and families alike could watch. You know, it really felt like, you know, something like Despicable Me. You know, Despicable Me movies are kind of for everyone, and, you know, that's good. That's really good to see. But, you know, like I said before, like Minecraft movie, like Watch Dogs, I really hope those movies end up good, and, you know, with the right people behind it, and, you know, just make a good movie overall. That's the biggest thing with these video game movies, is I feel like sometimes they try to, you know, make it too much like the video game itself. Maybe Borderlands was trying to make it too much like the video games. Like I said before, I don't know too much about like the behind the scenes and, you know, the stories behind the games. But if the true focus was just trying to tell a true, authentic, real, good story at the beginning, I think it had no problem of, you know, the storytelling and movie stuff about it. And, you know, as a filmmaker myself, and seeing, you know, bad movies, good movies, and whatever, it's always good to take a bad movie, if you even see a bad movie, just take one good thing out of it. Like, just take one thing you can take with you, and just say, hey, that thing, that one idea right there, that was a good thing. I really like that part of it. Even if the rest of it was trash, this one exception was really good. And if I had to say one good thing about Borderlands, I don't know. I really liked the experience. I like going to movies on Friday nights with a friend or a family member. It's just always like a fun time overall. And I think I had some good action moments, and who can go wrong with that? I think it was really entertaining. It was entertaining nonetheless. I mean, it's a movie overall, so it's a movie. Probably won't watch it again, but, you know, at the end of the day, these companies want to make money, and the video game companies stepping into the cinema world, they're going to continue to make that. They're going to continue to try that. I don't know what's going to be next, but hopefully they end up doing it right. Plus, like I said before, it makes a lot of money, so they're not going to stop anytime soon. But if you want to take this conversation elsewhere, you can join the Discord, Nick's Studio. With that being said, hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.